time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Fox Sports Net 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Diego Padres. Last night, with the Marlins having already won, the Dodgers looked to the big guy, Kevin Brown, to come up with a big performance, and he did. 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, and 9 strikeouts. And he got a first inning lift from Shawn Green. Green hitting his 17th home run of the year, giving him 5 home runs in the last 8 games. And as usual, the scintillating double play combination. Cora and Vizquez, 32 double plays in the last 23 games. And now game 3 with the Padres. Well, after watching the Dodgers and the Padres the last 2 nights, it is reasonable indeed to ask the question, and you're not putting the Padres down, but how in the world did the Dodgers lose 9 games to the Padres this year? Of course, they look unbeatable right now. However, remember this, the last time the Dodgers swept a 3-game series from San Diego, you have to go all the way back to 1994. And the Padres are very hungry. They have been shut down completely, 18 consecutive scoreless innings. Well, Hideo Nomo will try and keep it going for the Dodgers, although he goes into the game certainly not a favorite. Nomo, with a tired arm, has also lost to San Diego all 3 starts he has made against them this year. As far as the front-running teams in the wild card are concerned, well, we know Philadelphia was winning very big. However, the Marlin game, you can bet we'll keep an eye on that one all during our game. The Dodgers, for the moment anyway, 3.5 games back and 1 game back of Philadelphia. We'll get to the starting lineup. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Fox Sports Net 2 presents Dodger Baseball, brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab it by the horns. Dodge. Sunday, sweet Sunday, my Sunday with you. That's an old song from the Flower Drum Song, but it certainly is applicable today. Nice crowd on hand at Dodger Stadium, and it is a gem of a day here in Los Angeles. The Dodgers, of course, are hoping it will be a diamond of a day, a diamond in the rough, admittedly, but nevertheless, they're going to have to go to the whip one more time. It is boiled down simply for the Dodgers. They just have to win, period. For San Diego, it's just an exercise, and nevertheless, there is professional pride on the line. And for the Padres, Sean Burroughs will lead off at third base. Mark Loretta will be at second, and Brian Giles hits third in left field. Phil Nevin hits cleanup at first base. Gary Matthews Jr. is in right field. Mark Kotsay will be in center. Khalil Green, the rookie shortstop, will play today over Ramon Vasquez. Humberto Quintero will catch his second game in the 3-game series. And on the mound, Ben Howard with a record of 1-1. Padres still trying to win their 60th game. They're also trying to score. Remember, they've been shut out 18 consecutive innings. For the Dodgers, it is very simple. You don't need a pep talk. It's all summed up in one word: win. And here's the lineup. Dave Roberts in center field and Cesar Asturis at short. Shawn Green hits third in right field. Robin Ventura will play first base over Fred McGriff today. Adrian Beltre will bat behind him at third. Then you have Jeremy Burnitz hitting sixth in left field. David Ross will give Paul LaDuca a break and go behind the plate. Alex Cora at second, and Hideo Nomo will be on the mound. Nomo trying to win his 16th. He is 15-11, 0-3 with San Diego, 7-7 lifetime. Final game of the series with the Padres coming up right after this. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium on this glorious Sunday afternoon, where the Dodgers and the Padres going round and round, and another chapter will be written in the wild card race. But as the Dodgers concentrate on the present, trying to catch Florida, the organization looks ahead. And before the game today, 2 young players in the Dodger organization were honored. On the left, Franklin Gutierrez, who hit 24 home runs. He had 80 RBIs, scored 77, and stole 20 bases. He was scouted by Camilo Pascal, so he was the Branch Rickey Award Player of the Year in the Dodger organization. The Pitcher of the Year, another fine youngster, 12-5 for Vero Beach and Jacksonville, and his name is Greg Miller. And with them was their manager at Vero Beach, Scott Little. And we just take a moment to salute both young men after a tremendous year. But now it's the wild card, the amazing Florida Marlins. They were down 3-0. Gary Sheffield hit a home run in the first inning. The Marlins have come battling back. They lead Atlanta 4-3, bottom of the 8th inning. The Marlins, if they win, will have won 8 in a row, and they will have really given the Atlanta Braves a terrible time. They will have beaten the Braves 7 out of 9 in Florida. So now, here we go with the Dodgers 3.5 back, one behind the Phillies, who are 2.5 back. And the first pitch is a hard ground ball to the right side to Cora, and they take care of Sean Burroughs on one pitch. One away. Hideo Nomo trying to win 16 games for the 3rd time as a Dodger. He has 11 losses, and in those 11 losses, the Dodgers piled up a total of only 12 runs. So you have to look very closely to realize just how well he has pitched. With an ERA of 2.8, he will now face Mark Loretta, and Loretta red hot. He had 3 big hits last night, batting .322. Nomo into the windup and deals, gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Mark Loretta has 170 hits. Roberto Alomar had 184. So if he tops that, he will be the first Padre since Tony Gwynn to get over 180. And Mark, right-hand batter, local boy, and swings, hits it foul outside of third, down the line, and the count 0-1. So Sean Burroughs, who lives in Long Beach, grounded out. Mark Loretta, who was born in Santa Monica, went to Northwestern University, is up there, and a count 0-2. A Southern California who was a Cincinnati Reds fan, and he has Brian Giles hitting back of him. The strike 2 pitch in the dirt, a splitter blocked nicely by David Ross, and the count 1-2. Hideo Nomo, who had the tired arm, and the fact that he couldn't answer the bell in Arizona, gave Edwin Jackson a chance, and Jackson knocked off Randy Johnson. Talk about the giant killer. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Mark Loretta. Hideo into the windup and deal, swung on and fouled away. Let's take a look at Hideo Nomo and his work in the past against San Diego. Burroughs was 7 for 20. Giles, who's on deck, just 1 for 5. Loretta only 2 for 17. That's a 118 batting average. So Mark waiting. Nomo into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch coming up, and Loretta hits one in the air, foul off first, down the line. Robin Ventura trying to get under it, and does. A nice Willie Mays basket catch with his back to home plate.
Now batting.
So Robin makes a fine play. 2 down in the first inning, and Brian Giles will be coming up. Very tough play, but of course Ventura, an experienced first baseman, knew exactly how to handle it, looking back over his shoulder. Brian Giles, born in El Cajon and coming over from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was originally drafted by the Cleveland Indians. Brian, left-hand batter, lays off a pitch outside, ball 1, hitting .293 on the road and .303 all told. So Giles waiting. Broke in with a bang with San Diego. The 1-0 pitch he takes in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Giles last night struck out twice, hit into a double play, dropped a fly ball. Bad night. He was 1 for 3 the game before. So 1 for 6 in the series, and the 1-1 pitch to Brian Giles, and that's a little high, ball 2. In the dugout, Ben Howard. He has 1 win. He beat Arizona. He has 1 loss. He lost to the Giants, and the Dodgers will take a look at him, and there is quite a story about Ben Howard. We'll get into it when he's on the mound. Meanwhile, Giles swings, doesn't get it, and the count 2-2. The Dodgers are going to say goodbye to San Diego today, but only for a little while. Tomorrow is an off day. Arizona, San Francisco, and then Dodgers go right down to San Diego for 4 more. The 2-2 pitch to Giles, swung on, fouled at the plate, so Bryan is still there. So as Bryan struggles with the last place Padres, his brother holding down second base for the front-running Atlanta Braves, who are losing to Florida 4-3 in the 8th inning. Philadelphia trying to hold on to what is now a 10-7 lead as Giles drives one foul down the line. Philadelphia at one stage led Pittsburgh 10-2. Now it's 10-7. Florida was down 3-0 in the first inning. They're leading Atlanta 4-3 in the 8th. And Houston doing it to St. Louis again, whacking them 4-1 in the 8th. The Cubs and Cincinnati no score in the 8th. 2-2 pitch now to Brian Giles, swung on, little pop fly on the left side. Beltre using his hand for shade along with the glasses makes the catch. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Hideo Nomo. At the end of half an inning, Padres nothing, Dodgers coming up. San Diego fails to score. The Dodgers coming up now. It'll be Roberts, Turris, and Green. Taking a look at a 24-year-old right-hander out of Jackson, Tennessee, by the name of Ben Howard. And what makes the Howard story poignant but also useful, and I use the two words very carefully, especially with the emphasis on the useful part, as Ben looks in, big right-hander ready. He's 6'2", 190, gets a strike to Roberts in the count 0-1. You may remember before spring training a year ago, outfielder Mike Darr of the San Diego Padres was killed in an automobile accident. Here's the strike one pitch to Dave Roberts, and he looks at another strike. Darr, only 25 years old. There were two other men in the car. Dwayne Johnson, 23 years old, also was killed in the accident, and the third man was Ben Howard. Now, we're going to get to why it is a useful story, is also a heartbreaker. The strike two pitch, Roberts hits it to the gap in right center field. There's nobody there. That thing is going to the wall, and a rabbit is loose. Dave is around second, on his way to third, in there with a belly whopper. So Dave Roberts opens up the ball game with a triple, and now is Turris, Green, and Ventura trying to get him home. Let's get back to the useful part of the Ben Howard story. The vehicle the three men were in drifted into the dirt center median. It was then overcorrected, rolled across 3 lanes, crashed through a fence. Darr and Johnson were not wearing seat belts. As Turris takes ball 1. They were not wearing seat belts. They were ejected. Howard was wearing a seat belt, and he survived. So we pass that along to all the kids. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. That's off the plate, ball 2. You can imagine the psychological problems that Ben Howard had, totally torn up. He finally got to a telephone and called pitcher Jeremy Fekosh, who came to get him. The 2-0 pitch is lifted into right center. Should be plenty deep enough to get Roberts. Kotsay for the catch. Dave coming to the plate, and the throw is a good one. He is out at the plate. So last night, Mark Kotsay made a poor throw when Fred McGriff tagged, but boy, did he ever make up for it there. On the fly to his catcher, Quintero. Last night we saw Kotsay wet his fingertips before throwing the ball. This time he arrows a strike, and Roberts is out with Tim Tashida, the plate umpire, calling it. So before the chairs are even warm, we have a triple, a fly ball, and an out at the plate. And now the batter is Shawn Green. So quickly, after such a promising beginning, the Dodgers have 2 outs. Bases empty, no score. The strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's taken on the outside corner, 0-2. Well, anyway, just to end that tragic story about Ben Howard, those on television watching a replay again of the play at the plate. Pitch to Green is a little flare, a dunker. It's going to fall for a base hit. So Green makes a turn and holds on. Little pop fly single will bring up Robin Ventura.
Coming to the plate,
Ben Howard's
baseman,
father, who
number
was a
23,
golf course construction
Ventura.
superintendent, and his mom, a bookkeeper, flew to Phoenix, and they helped nurture him and get him through that horrific time. So Ben Howard has survived, and here he is on the mound pitching against the Dodgers with 2 down, first inning, no score. And of course, Dave Roberts in the dugout thinking either I should have scored or I would have scored, but instead he's out. Ventura, ground ball single to right. So the Dodgers spinning their wheels here. They have a triple and 2 singles and nothing to show for it yet.
Number 29,
Adrian Beltre, the club's hottest hitter, coming up with an 11-game hitting streak. Boy, the more you think about it, what a tremendous throw that was by Mark Kotsay. I mean, it's one thing for Kotsay to throw out certain people, but for him to throw out Dave Roberts, that's remarkable. So here's Beltre now, trying to cash in what has been a frustrating first inning for the Dodgers. Out of his stretch goes Ben Howard. Right-hander ready, comes to the plate, and Beltre, a little foul ball down the right field line out of play. It'll go just by the photographer's well. For those on television, we're taking another look. Perfectly executed play by Mark Kotsay. And Dave Roberts, as fast as the Dodgers have, a good block by Humberto Quintero. He had his left leg there to spin Roberts away from the plate. Strike 1 pitch, Beltre takes down and away, 1-1. So Roberts gets a big break thanks to Kotsay. And Beltre batting .246, 20 home runs, 76 runs batted in. Howard at the belt. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. And that's a breaking ball off the plate, ball 2. Pretty good fastball along with a curveball, a slider, and a change. There are those who say he looks a little bit like a young Curt Schilling in his delivery. One thing he's been fighting is control. The 2-1 pitch to Beltre is swung on and foul back out of play. Normally, when we look at a pitcher, one of the first things we do is look at his strikeout to walk ratio. And for Ben Howard, it is very bad. 11 walks, 10 strikeouts. But even with all of that, the opposition is hitting only .222 against him. So the deuces are wild with 2 out, and the 2-2 pitch to Beltre is fouled away again. Florida leading Atlanta 4-3 in the 9th inning, but Javi Lopez is at the plate, and the Braves have runners at first and third and nobody out, and a big hitter up there. So we'll let you know as soon as we can about what Atlanta does. They blew a 3-0 lead in the first inning. Once again, the 2-2 pitch to Beltre, swung on and foul back. So it's still 2-2. Fastball, and he got under it and just sent it scurrying back to fastball alley. So Philadelphia leading Pittsburgh 10-7. Florida trying to hang on to a 4-3 lead, and it's the top of the 9th inning, and the Braves are kicking up their heels. Once again, the 2-2 pitch to Beltre is swung on. A high fly ball to right center, but it's playable. It is slicing to Gary Matthews, and he makes the catch. So we'll have to tell you a little bit about the Braves in a while. At the end of an inning, despite a triple and 2 singles, the Dodgers come up empty, no score. Boy, there was an awful lot going on for no score at the end of an inning. Meanwhile, in Miami, Javi Lopez just walked. So the Atlanta Braves have the bases loaded and nobody out. Florida leads 4-3. Right-hander Braden Looper is on the mound trying to get him out of the tough spot. And the Braves trying to break it open and get way out in front. Rafael Furcal is the batter. Meanwhile here, Phil Nevin takes low, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to Phil. Hitting .257, 10 home runs, 37 RBIs. Wrecked his left shoulder in spring training and missed just about the whole year. The 1-0 pitch, Nomo delivers, and that's foul back, and the count 1-1. So we will wait for further development. Big moment in Florida. The Braves with the bases loaded and nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Rafael Furcal. 4-3 in favor of Florida. Nomo into the windup now, and the 1-1 pitch to Phil Nevin. Hideo deals, and it's a little low. Ball 2 in the count, 2-1. Looper pitching behind now as he misses again to Furcal. 2-1 the count to Phil Nevin. Hideo ready again. We're in the second inning. No score. Nomo deals, and that's probably pulled foul down the left field line into the box seats. And the count now 2-2. So little Rafael, a brave shortstop, and a big assignment. You know, we understand Gary Sheffield kind of chewed out his team after last night's loss, saying they're not bearing down. They're taking things too easy. Sheffield then hit a 3-run home run in the first inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and Nevin drives it to the gap in left center, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. Phil going cruising into second base as Dave Roberts gets it back. Furcal hit a fly ball to left field pretty deep, and the tying run has come over. So the Braves have tied it up with Florida 4-4, top of the ninth inning, and they have a couple of men on base with only one out. Nevin, meanwhile, doubles to the gap here in the second inning. And the batter will be Gary Matthews. Junior has switch hitter, batting left-handed, hitting .272. He has 4 home runs and 20 RBIs. 1 for 4 last night, 0 for 3 the night before. So he's 1 for 7 in the series. Nomo, a look back at Nevin. Now Hideo delivers, drops a splitter low and inside. Ball 1, 1-0. We'll check that game and find out who the batter is, with runners at first and second. 1 out, and the Braves have tied up the game in the ninth inning 4-4. Mark DeRosa is the batter for Atlanta as Matthews takes a strike and the count 1-1. So the Braves blew a 3-0 lead. Florida led 4-3. The Braves have tied it up 4-4 in the ninth. They have a chance to get out in front. Remember, Atlanta has just been playing dazzling ball, and all of a sudden they've come up short against the Marlins. Pitch inside to Matthews, ball 2. Atlanta, by losing last night, they've lost 8 of the last 13. The Marlins have won 7 straight, and if the Marlins win, they will have beaten Atlanta 7 out of 9 in Miami. 2-1 pitch coming up to Gary Matthews, swung on, little pop fly and foul ground. Beltre comes over to glove it. So Nevin holding, and we have 1 away. And because of the situation, remember, Dodger Division Series tickets are on sale. They have to be. Purchase your tickets, come to Dodger Stadium, give us a call, go online to Dodgers.com, and there is no ticket purchase limit. Give us a call, 323-2241-HIT, for more information. Well, Mark DeRosa is still up at the plate in a 4-4 tie in the ninth inning in Miami. Meanwhile, Nevin is at second with 1 out here. And the batter, Mark Kotsay, who made that magnificent throw to nail Dave Roberts at the plate. Kotsay, left-hand batter, has a look at a pitch low and inside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Kotsay, born in Whittier, went to Cal State Fullerton. Makes his home in Santa Fe Springs. Mark DeRosa, by the way, just popped up. Here's the strike 1 pitch, and that's going to be in there. 0-2. Check me, make it 1-1. So Gary Sheffield is coming up with 2 on, 2 out, top of the ninth inning in a 4-4 tie. The same Sheffield who had a 3-run home run in the first inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch by Hideo, and that's stroke foul off to the right of the plate. So the Fat's in the fire, and a good save by the Florida catcher because Braden Looper almost threw 1 away. First and second, 2 down, top of the ninth. Atlanta 4, Florida 4. Kotsay, a brilliant college player and a solid big leaguer. The 1-2 pitch to Mark, chased in the dirt. It's dug out by Ross, and the out is recorded at first. Well, we will now have 2 down. Nevin open up with a double. He's still at second base. And the batter will be Khalil Green.
Coming to the plate.
But in all honesty, for the moment, the Khalil Green at bat will take second place to Gary Sheffield. 4-4, top of the ninth inning. Runners at first and second. And Khalil Green, born in Butler, Pennsylvania, lives in Key West, went to school at Clemson, and a #1 pick last year by the Padres, and here he is. Right hand hitting shortstop, and the pitch to him very high. It gets away from Ross, but Nevin holding at second base. So Gary Sheffield is the man of the moment. In the first inning, he hit a 3-run home run. That 3-0 lead disappeared. The Marlins led 4-3 in the top of the ninth. The Braves have tied it up 4-4, and Sheffield with a big golden opportunity to untie it. 1 ball and no strikes to Khalil Green. That name, Khalil, means gift of God. He hits a ground foul outside of third down the line. Khalil Green, a first-round pick, has gotten here in a hurry, so they really think the world of him. 5'10", about 200 pounds, and rewrote the baseball record book at Clemson. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Nomo set and deals, and there's a line drive dug out by Beltre, who tags Nevin coming to him. And boy, that thing was hit right on the screws. And another fine defensive play by Adrian Beltre. Boy, that was ripped. So at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Bottom of the second inning, no score in the ball game here. San Diego and the Dodgers. Meanwhile, in Miami, Gary Sheffield walked. The bases are loaded, 2 out, and a 4-4 tie. And Robert Fick, a right-hand batter, hits one into right field for a base hit. 1 run scores. I think the bases remain loaded. Another run scores. So Atlanta has taken a 6-4 lead over Florida in the 9th inning as Robert Fick singles in 2. So a 3-run inning so far for Atlanta. Meanwhile, Jeremy Burnett lips one foul off to the left and out of play, and the count 0-1. We can show you on television what happened. Fick came up, drove one into right field on the ground. 2 runs scoring. So the Braves, down 4-3, have scored 3 times in the 9th and lead 6-4, trying to break a Florida 7-game winning streak. Strike 2 pitch to Burnett is swung on and missed, and down goes Jeremy, 1 away. You know, the Dodgers will follow up the Viva Los Dodgers concert with an enhanced music CD giveaway Tuesday the 16th with the Diamondbacks here. It'll include singles from Viva performers Cabas, Mile, and Alejandro Perez. The CD being given away courtesy of Southern California Chevy dealers. So give us a call, 323-2241-HIT, for more information. Well, the Dodgers get the big information right now. Atlanta leading Florida 6-4 in the top of the 9th. Meanwhile, David Ross takes high, ball 1. Dodgers had a man thrown out of the plate, Dave Roberts, who had tripled, trying to come home on a fly ball by Cesar Izturis, and Mark Kotze nailed him. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed, 1-1. In Miami, with 2 men on, 3 runs in and 2 outs, the batter is Andrew Jones. 6-4 Atlanta. The 1-1 pitch off the plate, ball 2, 2-1. Of course, it's the old story. No matter what happens in Florida, the Dodger fortunes, one word: win. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and Ross hits a high fly ball to left field, but it's playable. Brian Giles moves to his right, makes the catch for the out. So 2 down in the second inning, and the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Alex Cora, coming up.
Alex Cora.
The Dodgers trying to do something that they have not been able to do against San Diego for quite a while. They have not swept a 3-game series from San Diego since May of 1994. And as you probably know, the Padres giving the Dodgers a terrible time coming into the series. They had won 9 out of 12, 5 straight, 10 out of 13. The pitch to Cora, a strike, in the count 0-1. Now the strike 1 pitch from Ben Howard. That swung on and smoked up the middle. A 2-out single by Cora. So the Dodgers have 4 hits and nothing to show for it. And Hideo Nomo will be coming up. Nomo has 4 hits, including a home run, 3 runs batted in. So Hideo checks in at the plate. Andrew Jones, meanwhile, in Miami, has just doubled in 2. Meanwhile, a single to left by Hideo Nomo. 5 hits for the Dodgers, but they're still looking for a run. So Howard gave up a triple and 2 singles in the first inning. He has given up 2 singles with 2 out in the second inning. Meanwhile, Atlanta, Florida, it was 6-4 Braves. Andrew Jones drives one in the gap to right center, and that will score 2 more. So Atlanta now is leading 8-4 in the 9th inning. They are just putting that up on the scoreboard. So if the Dodgers ever wanted to go to the whip and get something going, now is the time. So here is Dave Roberts, triple thrown out at the plate, trying to score on a fly ball. 2 on, 2 out, no score, second inning, and Dave takes a strike, and the count 0-1. It's a young Ben Howard, 24 years old, out of Tennessee. Right-hander leaning on his left knee to get a sign. Humberto Quintero wigwagging it out to him. The strike 1 pitch to Dave Roberts, that's high and away, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Braves finally wake up. They get 3 in the first inning, 5 in the 9th, and they're leading Florida, having to come from behind, 8-4 in the 9th. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 10-7. The 1-1 pitch is swung on, hit to center, but Kotze is there, puts that glove on it, and that's that. So the Dodgers really spinning their wheels. No runs and 2 hits in the inning, 5 hits in the game, and no score. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by your Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive the new ES330 today. And by Pennzoil, not just oil, Pennzoil. A gorgeous day. It is New Era Cap Day at Dodger Stadium. No score in the ball game as we go to the 3rd inning. And the familiar, wonderful voice of Perry Como singing over the PA system. Papa loves Mama, Mama loves Mambo, and the crowd wearing their new chapeaus in a fine mood for the moment anyway. Atlanta made the last out, so Florida is coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning with Atlanta leading 8-4. The Dodgers, meanwhile, 5 hits in the first 2 innings and no score, including having a runner, Dave Roberts, thrown out at the plate. So the Padres with Humberto Quintero. He'll be followed by Ben Howard and then Sean Burroughs. Quintero is from Maracaibo, Venezuela. Originally a White Sox free agent, right-hand hitting catcher. And the first pitch to him by Nomo is taken in the dirt, ball 1. He was called up the 3rd of September, had a pinch hit at bat and got a base hit against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Remember D'Angelo Jimenez? He played shortstop for San Diego. Well, they traded him to Chicago to get Humberto and Alex Fernandez. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Nomo over the top, fastball, and a sensational diving catch by Adrian Beltre. Beltre not only made a brilliant play to take a base hit and a runaway in the second inning, he makes an absolutely dazzling diving backhand catch of what would have been a double for Humberto Quintero. What talent. There is a gold mine at third base for the Dodgers in Adrian Beltre. Wow. So 1 away here in the 3rd inning. And the batter, Ben Howard. Howard, right-hand batter. Nomo into the windup, comes to his hitter, and it's foul back, and the count 0-1. So Ben Howard hitting 167. That means he has 1 hit in 6 at-bats. Nomo ready again, and the strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. While things are quiet, let's figure this way. When the Dodgers take the field Tuesday night against Arizona, Florida will have already played its game in Philadelphia. Here's the strike 2 pitch to Ben Howard, waved at and missed. Down he goes. So the series with Arizona will be extremely important. Hope you'll be out here with us. We'll play some scoreboard. We'll be watching Philadelphia. The one edge when you look at it, Florida and Philadelphia play each other 6 times. At the very end of the year, the Dodgers have 4 games in San Francisco. Philadelphia has 3 games at home with Atlanta. And here's the key. Florida finishes up the year with the New York Mets. 2 down, and the leadoff man, Sean Burroughs, takes outside, ball 1, 1-0. Bottom of the 9th inning in Florida, 8-4 Atlanta. The door wide open for Philadelphia and for the Dodgers to cozy up a little bit. Burroughs a drive to left field. Back goes Burnett just about to the track and makes the catch for the out. So the inning is over after a remarkable play by Adrian Beltre. And at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. No score, bottom of the 3rd inning, the Dodgers and the Padres. Meanwhile, the Marlins are batting in the bottom of the 9th inning, 1 out, and Atlanta leading Florida 8-4. Cesar Izturis thought he had a run batted in. I mean, you hit a fly ball to medium center with Dave Roberts at third, you figure you've got the run. Instead, Mark Kotsay made the pitch of the day so far, hitting Humberto Quintero, the Padres catcher, who put a good block on Roberts, and the Dodgers failed to score. Izturis fouls it away, 0-2 the count. Eric Gagne sitting alongside of Dave Roberts. That tells you how early in the game. Eric sitting between Roberts and Beltre. Later on, Jason Romano is there as well. Eric will get up and go to the pen. Izturis takes high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 10-7. Houston beat the Cardinals yet again 4-1. And a one-hopper knocked down by Loretta. He has to hurry, and he's late. Cesar hitting left-handed, flying down the line. Loretta had a hot potato and tried to just block it, which he did, but then the ball bounced away, and by the time he recovered and made the throw, Izturis had beaten the play. It's an error, but boy, it was hot to handle. So Mark Loretta committed an error last night, and the Dodgers cashed it in for a run in the 4th inning. And here is Sean Green, no score, bottom of the 3rd, and Izturis draws a throw and gets back. Izturis has stolen 8 out of 13, but the way Sean Green has been swinging the bat, he might very well hold his ground and keep Nevin on the bag. Howard ready and deals, swung on and fouled back out of play. 0-1 the count to Sean, who has hit 5 home runs in the last 8 games and 2 home runs in this series. And boy, he also had a couple of long outs that Gary Matthews caught up against the wall, one of them with the bases loaded. But he's back to dispensing the batting gloves to the children, and everybody loves to see that. Sean, meanwhile, a slow ground ball to Nevin. He's going to get the front man. No action at first. So Izturis is forced. 3-6. And with 1 out, Robin Ventura will be the batter.
Robin Ventura.
Garrett Wright has now come in to pitch for Atlanta. He relieved Ray King, who got the first out. And I'm not sure what the situation is down there, but we'll get it to you in a minute. To repeat, 8-4 Atlanta. Bottom of the 9th inning in Florida. And Florida will head to Philadelphia while Ventura hits one to deep right center and gone. So Robin Ventura hits it out. His 3rd home run of the year, 10 runs batted in. So the error hurts. It gives the Dodgers the extra run, and they lead 2-0. So Robin plays today with Fred McGriff resting, and he proceeds to single in the 1st inning and hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd. And now Adrian Beltre will be coming up. Ventura hit it deep into the bleachers, almost straightaway center, as Beltre takes high, ball one. Jared Wright has, I believe, just gotten an out. And the game has ended in Florida. So a final score, Atlanta 8 and Florida 4. So the Dodgers have a chance to pick up a game. Philadelphia is now 1.5 back. The Dodgers need a win to get to 2.5 back. Beltre, a ground ball to short, picked there by Green to throw him out. 2 down. Say, friends, be sure to catch the Southern California Sports Report tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Net 2. You'll get complete sports action, Dodger coverage, and on 980 KFWB. Why, be sure to stay with us after the game for the post-game show with Ross Porter and Rick Monday. All right, a lot going on. Ventura hits a 2-run home run to give the Dodgers a lead. Atlanta scores 5 times in the 9th inning to beat the front-running Marlins 8-4. And at the plate now, and looking at a pitch, is Burnett's, ball one. Jeremy struck out in the 2nd inning. And to repeat, starting Tuesday, the Dodgers host Arizona, and Florida will go head-to-head in Philadelphia. So that makes the Dodger-Arizona series really sweet. Hope you'll be out here with us. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jeremy Burnett, hitting .241. Big left-hand batter. Ben Howard ready and deals, and there's a towering drive into deep right. Back goes Matthews, away back. She's gone. Dodgers lead 3-0. So Jeremy Burnett puts the slug on Mr. Howard. And for Jeremy Burnett, his 28th home run, his 10th as a Dodger. Mark Loretta with a hard hit ground ball that just handcuffed him, and that gives the Dodgers the extra run. Otherwise, Beltre's ground ball to short would have been the last out. And the batter, David Ross, takes a strike. So Loretta's error not only gave an extra run, it gave an extra at bat. So the error really gives the Dodgers 2 extra runs. And Ross hits a towering drive to left. Back goes Giles to the track at the scoreboard. That's gone. 4-0 Dodgers. 3 home runs in the inning. David Ross hits his 8th home run of the year. 16 runs batted in. And the Dodgers jumping all over Ben Howard with 3 home runs. He had allowed 5 in his 3 previous games. And the pitch now to Alex Cora, high, ball one. Distress signal goes up the pole from Bruce Bochy. And right-handed Joe Roa begins to heat up in the Padre bullpen. And the pitch outside, ball 2, 2-0. Well, the Dodgers, like a good horse race, are making their move. It's a question of how late in the race is it. 2 balls and no strikes. The count to Alex Cora. Young Ben Howard jolted. A 2-run home run by Robin Ventura. A home run by Burnett. A home run by David Ross. The 2-0 pitch fouled away. And in all honesty, 2 of the outs, or would have been outs, were really hit hard. Ventura's home run after his tourist drilled one that handcuffed Loretta. Then Burnett's a towering home run to right. So Ross decided to balance the scales, and he hit a home run to left. And Cora fouls it off, 2-2. So the Dodgers 3 home runs in the inning. And as we said, the error by Loretta really means 2 extra runs. 2-2 the count. Into the windup goes Howard, and that swung on and missed. Down goes Cora. But the Dodgers do some damage, and they get a roar from their fans. Ventura, Burnett, and Ross hit home runs. 4-0 Dodgers. Well, here's our Aflac trivia question for the day. Who holds the Padres record consecutive number of games played? We'll give you the answer in a little while. Meanwhile, a rather interesting third inning. One error by Mark Loretta, only his 7th error of the year, really gave the Dodgers 3 runs because Green hits into a force play. But if Loretta had made the play, you would have had 2 out. Ventura's home run would have given the Dodgers a 1-0 lead, and Beltre's ground ball, that would have been the end of the inning. But instead, Burnitz came up and homered. Ross came up and homered, and it is 4-0 Dodgers in the 4th inning. And guess who's at the plate? Mark Loretta takes a strike. So Mark Loretta from Santa Monica, got a business degree from Northwestern. He's been playing the game a long time. Came up to the Brewers in 1995. Strike 1 pitch to Mark is swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, who had gotten only 12 runs in Hideo Nomo's 11 losses, they give him 4 in 1 inning today. 0-2 the count to Mark Loretta. And a splitter takes care of him. Down he goes. Meanwhile, in the Dodger bullpen is young Edwin Jackson, 20 years old. Remember, called up from Double-A. Made an incredible start against Randy Johnson. Outpitched the big left-hander and beat Arizona in his debut. They weren't sure about Nomo, so they have young Edwin in the bullpen just in case. Brian Giles at the plate. Giles, a solid performer and hitting .317 against right-hand pitching. 0-1. That's a strike. So the Dodgers in the up and down as Hideo hits 40 pitch mark. Dodgers won 5 straight, lost 2 in a row to Arizona. Now trying to come back and sweep the Padres for the first time in 9 years. 0-2. Just off the plate, ball 1. So we repeat, with a lot of folks coming in and out of the broadcast, Atlanta beat Florida, so the Dodgers could cut the lead to 2.5. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh. They've already cut the Marlin lead to 1.5. And starting Tuesday night, it will be Florida in Philadelphia, and we'll be here with Arizona. 2-2 to Giles. And a fly ball to deep right. Green going back. That doesn't go all the way. Halfway up the bleachers in right field. So Brian Giles comes back with a home run of his own. That's his 18th home run of the year and his 2nd as a member of the Padres. And more than that, it breaks the string. The Padres had gone 21 1/3 innings without scoring here. And then Giles reaches the seats. For Hideo Nomo, that would be the 22nd home run that he's allowed. And the batter is Phil Nevin, who is certainly capable of hitting them out. And that's ball 1. How good was Phil Nevin? Well, when he was drafted by Houston, he was drafted ahead of Derek Jeter, Jason Kendall, and Charles Johnson. Ground ball to his turf. 2 down in the 4th inning. Dodgers lead 4-1. And the batter will be Gary Matthews.
Gary Matthews.
Matthews fouled out to Adrian Beltre in the 2nd inning. Beltre has already made 2 dazzling defensive plays on the ball hit by Green that he short topped and tagged Nevin, and then that incredible diving catch of the line drive hit by Quintero. Right. 0-1. Hideo Nomo trying for the 3rd time as a Dodger to win 16 games. Hard ground foul. 0-2. Tomorrow, an off day. Just about everybody in the National League will rest except the Cubs. No, I'm wrong. The Cubs play the Mets, Montreal plays Atlanta, and St. Louis plays Milwaukee. But the principals in the wild card will rest tomorrow. And a fly ball to right center, playable. Sean Green's there. So for Nomo, he gives up the home run to Brian Giles, but he walks off at the end of 3.5 innings, leading 4-1. Yes, ma'am. Polly Pigtails, 4-1 Dodgers. The ice cream takes great. And we go to the bottom half. Nomo single left in the second inning. 4-1 Dodgers in the fourth. Boy, if you are a Chicago Cubs fan, you suffer a blow today. Carlos Zambrano, an outstanding pitcher for the Cubs, was going up against a pitcher who had had 2 previous major league starts. His name, Josh Hall. The game was scoreless for most of the game, and Cincinnati beat Chicago 1-0. The answer to the Aflac question, who holds the Padre record for a consecutive number of games played? Yes, sure. Steve Garvey. So for the Cubs, what a crusher. Houston won, beating St. Louis again. And the Cubs are now 2 back in the National League Central. They're 4 back in the wild card. Every now and then that happens in a pennant race. Someone you never heard of comes out of nowhere and pitches a gem. And this kid, Josh Hall, in his 3rd major league start, shuts out the Cubs. Meanwhile, young Edwin Jackson sits back and waits to see whether he's going to get into the game or not. A September call-up. Oh, 1. Ground ball, backhanded by Nevin, hangs it to his man Howard coming over. 2 down. Meanwhile, 2 catchers. The catchers in the rye, W-R-Y. David Ross hitting the home run, and Paul LaDuca getting a rest. Cesar Izturis flied to center, and Roberts tagged at third and was thrown out. Pops it in the air, down the line, curling foul, a trio of Padres, and it's going to land amongst them and bounce up into the stands. Make no mistake about it, the ball that Izturis hit, Mark Loretta was unable to handle it. But it was not just a routine ground ball. I mean, it was crushed. And Loretta did what all second basemen do. Puts his body in front of it, takes it just above the belt. I mean, it was really ripped. It wasn't just ho-hum error. And Izturis, batting left-handed, beat the throw. But that one play, as it turned out, meant 3 runs. And the Dodgers lead 4-1 because Ventura homered, Burnitz homered, and Ross homered. Otherwise, the only run in that inning would have been the home run by Ventura. But for the Mark Loretta Marching and Chowder Society, that was just too hot to handle. 1-2. That run that beat the Cubs 1-0, it came with 2 out in the 9th inning. And Carlos Zambrano and the Cubs lost 1-0. Zambrano allowed 3 hits through 8 innings. Then there was a 13-minute delay. Plate umpire Steve Ripley left the game with a headache. And after that delay, Zambrano, isn't that amazing? I mean, you work a whole year and the plate umpire gets a headache and it affects the game. Wow. Josh Hall went 7. Ripley not only just had a headache, He received a headache after being hit in the mask with a foul ball. And all of that took place at Wrigley Field, Chicago. I'll bet you they were hanging from the rafters, and they lose 1-0. Whoa. And you know, they all come to the ballpark to see Sosa hit a home run, and especially Sammy had hit 5 against the Reds this year. Well, that'll do it for his tourists. So Ben Howard settles down. Nomo towels off, and we're heading to the 5th inning. 4-1 Dodgers. Tuesday, the D-backs will be here through Thursday on Fox Sports Net 2. Then UPN 13 will handle the entire weekend with the Giants. And, of course, every Dodger game on 980 KFWB, Ross Porter and Rick Monday, 1330 KWKW, Jaime Jarrín, Fernando Valenzuela, and Pepe Iniguez. That's a strike. Mark Kotsay. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Paul Shuey is just starting to loosen up. Considering the fact that he did have a tired or sore arm, they could very well be watching Hideo after 50 pitches. 0-2 to Kotsay, who struck out in the 2nd inning. And a repeat here in the 5th. So Kotsay struck out twice last night, so he has now struck out 4 consecutive at-bats. Because he did make that great throw to get Roberts. For Hideo, 3 strikeouts. Here's the young shortstop, Khalil Green. 23 years old, out of Clemson College. Really ripped the ball in his at-bat in the 2nd inning. And somehow or other, Beltre short-hopped it and then just tagged Nevin coming down to him. He was the College Baseball Player of the Year a year ago, winning the Dick Hauser Award. That's a strike. 0-2. When they talk about Khalil Green, they say that he's a 5-tool player. Boy, that's something for a shortstop. 5 tools. 0-2. Fouled away. He has a little different stance. He gets all of his weight on his back leg, his right leg, and then his left foot. See if we can see it. His left foot starts to swing in towards the right foot. There it goes. A little timing mechanism didn't help, and down he goes. So Nomo strikes out Kotsay and Green. He has struck out 4, and the batter will be Humberto Quintera. You know, friends, you can log on to foxsports.com, the keyword games, and play the 2003 installment of Hit the Pros. Hit the Pros. Take your at-bats against the best pitchers in the game. So here is Humberto Quintera. He lost a double in the 3rd inning on a magnificent diving catch by Adrian Beltre. That ought to do it. So an easy inning for Hideo Nomo. And at the end of 4.5 innings, it remains Dodgers 4, Padres 1. Hideo Nomo has turned in a strong 5. Dodgers leading 4-1. They had 3 home runs in the 3rd inning. Ventura with a man aboard, and then back-to-back home runs for the first time this year by Burnitz and Ross. So the Dodgers go to the muscle and lead 4-1 in the well, how do you do? Aren't you dressed on your Sunday in the ballpark? Thank you for that, my dear. Shawn Green, Robin Ventura, and Adrian Beltre. Nomo has had 2 innings where he's hardly worked at all. The 3rd inning, he made only 7 pitches. And in the 5th inning, He not only made 8 pitches, they were all strikes. So he's right on the beam. 2-0 the count to Sean Green. Sean single to center, hit into a force play. Badly fooled. 2-1. Because of the importance of the day and the time of the year, we'll repeat. Atlanta came from behind and beat Florida 8-4. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 10-7. Whoa. Ben Howard staggered and just did get out of the way of that bullet.
For the Dodgers, first baseman.
That's always a nightmare. All this great power. And he's so vulnerable, as is any pitcher. That whistled right by the bill of his cap. So Sean is 2 for 3. And Robin Ventura coming up. They want to make sure that Ben Howard is all right. Joe Roa gets up again. Howard is supposed to lead off in the 6th inning. Ventura singled to right and hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. 4-1 Dodgers in the 5th, trying to pick up a game on the Marlins. Green at first, held on by Nevin. 1-1. Little dribbler foul. 1-2. So Howard ready to make his 70th pitch, down by 3, and due to lead off in the 6th inning. So with Roa throwing back of him and with Hideo Nomo holding the game firmly in hand, you would expect that Bruce Bochy would hit for Howard. Foul back. Still 1-2 to Robin Ventura. On deck, Adrian Beltre. Foul back. Four runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers, including 3 home runs and a triple. 1 run, 2 hits for the Padres. They have a home run by Marcus Giles. And down goes Robin. So 1 away. Adrian Beltre is 0 for 2 at the bat, but he is really 2 for 2 with the glove. He has made 2 marvelous plays. A bullet he digs out of the dirt to tag Nevin. That was off the bat of Khalil Green. And a dazzling circus catch on a line drive hit by Humberto Quintera. So the young man with so much talent, a gold mine. 20 home runs, 76 runs batted in, and lifts a fly ball to right. Gary Matthews, sunglasses glistening in the sun. 2 down. So Beltre 0 for 3 with that 11-game hitting streak on the line. And the batter, Jeremy Burnett. Kind of a typical feast or famine day for Jeremy Burnett. Struck out in the 2nd inning. That gives him 100 strikeouts. And then hit one out of the ballpark in the 3rd. Well, not really out of the ballpark, in the bleachers. Burnett's 28 home runs, 10 as a Dodger. Ball 1. Green, a good base runner, good enough if they need him. He's stolen 6 out of 8. Left-hand hitter up, so they might want to just keep Nevin on the bag. And a little roller foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tomorrow an off day, and then starting Tuesday night, it should be pretty exciting over here. First of all, Arizona will be here for 3 games. And who do you think is going to be pitching Tuesday night? You're right, Curt Schilling against Kaz Ishii. And remember, Florida will be in Philadelphia. That's a strike. Then Wednesday, Odalis Perez, and he'll go up against the sinker ball right-hander Brandon Webb, who has been so very impressive. Thursday, the concluding game, Wilson Alvarez will go back to trying to win his 6th up against the poet Miguel Batista. Randy Johnson pitching today. And Jeremy flies open. Down he goes. So the leadoff single by Green is wasted. And at the end is 5. Dodgers 4, Padres 1. November the 14th. That was a particularly good day twice for Mike Piazza. Admittedly, he's had a lot of good days. But in 1993, you remember, Mike was the rookie. He had 2 home runs on this day to give him 30, and that established the home run record for catchers. Matt Noakes had held it before. And then on the same day in 1997, Piazza got a base hit in the 10th inning to drive in the winning run against Houston, and that had the Dodgers stay in a first-place tie with the San Francisco Giants. Let's go back to our game. Hideo Nomo will be pitching to a former Dodger, terrific guy, Dave Hansen. So Hansen, Burroughs, and Loretta in that order. Foul back. 0-1. Hideo Nomo. And that's the secret. Yeah, you're going to give up home runs because you're going to be throwing strikes. But 19 of the 22 with the bases empty. Foul back. 0-2 the count to Dave Hansen. Meanwhile, Ben Howard, sitting in the dugout, had a rough day. 4 runs, 9 hits, including 3 home runs and a triple. 0-2 to Dave, and that splitter takes care of him. So Nomo picks up his 6th strikeout, and we have 1 out here in the 6th inning.
Third baseman, Sean Burroughs.
Sean Burroughs grounded to second, flied to left, 0 for 2. Dodgers 4 picked them all up in the 3rd inning. An error, a force play, and then boom, Ventura a home run. Then what should have been the last out, but it was only the 2nd because of the error. Now Burroughs hits one to right. Back goes Green to the scoreboard, and that's gone. So we're starting to trade home runs. It's 3-2 in home runs and 4-2 in favor of the Dodgers on the scoreboard. For young Sean Burroughs, he hits his 6th home run, celebrated his 23rd birthday the other night. So it is now 4-2 in favor of the Dodgers.
Second baseman, Mark Loretta.
So we just finished showing you that note about Nomo and home runs allowed. It is the 23rd home run he has given up, and it is the 20th home run he has allowed with the bases empty. And here's Mark Loretta, who figured prominently in the 2nd inning. Change for a strike. 0-1. Loretta having a big year with the bat, hitting .325 against right-handers and .321 against all-comers, and Guillermo Mota gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Comes right back with another strike. 0-2. Scott Linebrink begins to loosen up down in the San Diego bullpen. 4-2 in favor of the Dodgers, only in the 6th inning. So the Dodgers can't count their chickens. Florida lost, Philadelphia won. Phillies are 1.5 behind the Marlins, and the Dodgers would like to cut it to 2.5. Of course, the days and the games are dwindling down. After today, 14 games left. That's all. 6 at home and 8 on the road. Ground ball to short as Turris in a hurry. Juggles, can't find the handle, and Loretta is aboard. So as Turris charging, that's really a do-or-die play, especially against a left-hand batter who runs well. I mean, you just hope you can come up with it. He couldn't. He'll be charged with an error. But not only is Giles safely aboard on the error, Giles coming up now to see if he can cash it in as Loretta stands at first. So is Turris. Draws the error. And here's Bryan. Popped up and homered. Lifts one into shallow right center, but Roberts is there. So Giles didn't hang around. Little fly ball, 2 down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers. Two down, and here's Nevin. Doubled, and they left him and grounded out. Ball 1. Nomo is due to bat third when the Dodgers come up in the 6th inning. The pitch count could be important now. Even though Jim Tracy calls him a warrior, he's made 66 pitches. That's a strike. 1-1. Dodgers 4. They've hit 3 home runs by Ventura, Burnitz, and Ross. Padres 2. Giles and Burrows have hit a home run. One and 1. 1-2. By the way, in talking about the Dodgers in the 3rd inning, back-to-back home runs, Burnitz and Ross for the first time this year. Also for the first time this year, 3 home runs in an inning. They did it twice last year at Colorado and at Milwaukee. But Messrs. Ventura, Burnitz, and Ross do it at home today. Foul ball. Nevin, who wrecked his left shoulder diving at a ball playing third base in an exhibition game first week of March. So that just ruined the year for Phil. He missed 100 games. To be exact, 103. But he said the other night that he finally has a good shoulder again. And a bouncer up the middle. It's going to be blocked by Cora, but no play. So Nevin singles up the middle. Loretta stopping at second.
Coming to the plate. And
the batter will be Gary Matthews Jr. So that's the 4th hit of Nomo. 2 on, 2 out, and wait a minute. We're talking about the pitch count, and as soon as Nomo sees Tracy, he picks the rosin bag up, slams it down on the back of the mound, and takes a hike because he knows he's going to take a longer hike in a moment. However, he gave the Dodgers a strong 5. Struck out Hansen. The error by Turris on that slow roller extends the innings. Otherwise, Giles' fly ball is the 3rd out. So we'll be back. Hideo Nomo comes out in a tough spot. He could win, or he could have nothing to do with it. He leads by 2, but he has 2 runners as his responsibility. 4 hits, and very much on his game with 6 strikeouts. The Dodgers make a double switch.
Right fielder.
Guillermo Mota will come in to do the pitching. Hobie Cabrera is now in left field. So if you are keeping score, put Mota in Jeremy Burnett's spot and put Cabrera, the left fielder, batting ninth. Meanwhile, 2 on, 2 out, and here is Matthews, 1 for 2 in the past against Mota, and promptly pops it up. Now let's see. Ventura is calling and makes the catch. Mota almost made a rookie mistake, and Ventura, the veteran, was able to make the catch. So Hideo is off the hook, and at the end of 5.5, 4-2 Dodgers. 4-2 Dodgers. Guillermo Mota almost pulls a rock and messes up the pop fly, so he gets a few giggles from Ron Coomer, a tease and a pat from Robin Ventura, and a 5 from Dave Roberts, plus a pat on the shoulder by Jim Colburn. Meanwhile, writing it all down in his book, bless his heart, and celebrating a birthday today, the fine broadcaster of the San Diego Padres, formerly a wonderful, solid citizen at second base for the New York Yankees. Today is the birthday of Mr. Jerry Coleman. Coleman, among other things, managed San Diego. 31 years the voice of the Padres. And he would be 79 years old today and going strong. Meanwhile, Scott Linebrink, who is 27 years old, working to David Ross. 4-2 Dodgers. Ball 1. David Ross flied to center and homered. Big catcher has power. He has 8 home runs. Doesn't play that much. 2-0. When he was at Las Vegas in AAA, he had 15 home runs in 92 games last year, so you know he can hit them out. Fouled away. As far as Scott Linebrink is concerned, Linebrink, born in Austin, lives in Texas. He was the number 2 pick by the San Francisco Giants out of Southwest Texas State. He helped that team to the NCAA Regionals 6 years ago when he was a sophomore. Ball 3. Linebrink went from the Giants to the Astros, and he's gone from the Astros to New Orleans, and now here he is with San Diego. And another drive by Ross. I should say he has power. Whoa, that thing is a bomb 3/4 of the way up the bleachers. For David Ross, his 2nd home run of the day, the 4th home run for the Dodgers today, and the Dodgers take the momentum back and a 5-2 lead. Oh, did he crush that thing?
Second baseman, Alex Cora.
So David Ross hitting one of those, no doubt about it. If you come to Dodger Stadium, you notice underneath the roof of the bleachers are numbers worn by great Dodgers of the past. And if you look out to left center, you see the number 19. And that's where that ball was heading, into those vacant blue seats, right under Jim Gilliam's number. So David Ross puts the slug on Scott Linebrink. For David against Linebrink, that's the 8th home run that he's allowed. For Ross, it would be his 9th home run, and 2 today. Foul back by Alex Cora. So the Dodgers having a 4 home run game. For David Ross, first multi-home run game in his career. He's just starting. He's going to hit a lot of them before he's through. And that'll do it for Cora. Tough to follow those big guys with home runs. I mean, he came up, did Cora, with 2 out and the bases empty, and he had a base hit. Then he comes up in the 3rd inning after Ross hits a home run, and Alex strikes out. Now he comes up again after Ross's home run and strikes out. Paul LaDuca coming over for the 2nd time to congratulate David Ross. And Paulie now busily engaged in conversation with Guillermo Mota. Hobie Cabrera is batting ninth, the moving man, playing left field today. Hit his first major league home run against the Angels 3 years ago. But boy, what a job Hobie Cabrera has done this year. 6 home runs, batting .284, and he's played everywhere. That's foul. Everywhere but pitch and catch. Just imagine over 162 games how important it is for a ball club to have a fellow with the overall talent of a Hobie Cabrera. And the nice thing for Hobie is the fact the Dodgers realize that when he starts, they win. They're 45-31 when Hobie starts. 5-2 Dodgers. All the pieces falling into place for the Dodgers. Unhappily for them, place is third. And they're going to the whip with 14 left after today. What the Dodgers would hope for, I guess, they would like to keep rolling. They play 3 with Arizona, and during those 3, remember, Florida will be in Philadelphia. So they would love it if Philadelphia swept Florida and they could do the same to Arizona. That would really crowd things. Little foul off first, trying to get under it is Phil Nevin. Got a long way to go, and he's not going to get there. 3-2 the count. To repeat, because it is going to be a lot of fun here starting Tuesday night. Kaz Ishii Tuesday night against Kurt Schilling. Odalis Perez Wednesday night against Brandon Webb. Thursday night, Wilson Alvarez and Miguel Batista. Randy Johnson pitched today. Three and two to Hobie. And popped up around the mound, Mark Loretta along with Green, but it's Loretta. Two down.
Center fielder.
Dodgers have hit 4 home runs today, 3 in 1 inning. Everybody talking to David Ross. 2 big home runs, one bigger than the other. Boy, that second home run, that was really crushed. Dave Roberts tripled in the first inning, tagged up on a fly ball by his tourist, and Mark Kotsay threw him out at the plate. Dave is not accustomed to being thrown out at the plate by outfielders on a medium fly ball, but Kotsay just got off a gem, and then a good block by Humberto Quintera with his left leg. He hooked Roberts away from the plate. Since then, Davis flied to center, grounded out. 1 for 3, batting .252. 1 ball, 1 strike. Change, little high, ball 2, 2-1. Scott Linebrink, I would say he's a conservative young man out of Texas. Why would you say conservative? Well, he knew and dated his wife for 10 years before they were married. That'll do it for Roberts lunging on that pitch, so he's up there now 2-2. Scott Linebrink. They picked him off waivers from the Astros. He's learning a splitter. 2-2. And that might have been it. So Roberts strikes out. However, David Ross didn't. I mean, he didn't. That thing really buried, and it's 5-2 Dodgers. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Nextel. Now with coast-to-coast walkie-talkie built right in. Now that's a walkie-talkie. And by the Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California. It's 5-2 Dodgers as we go to the 7th inning. A couple of notes. We told you that the Chicago Cubs lost a heartbreaker 1-0 to Cincinnati. Meanwhile, the Astros swept the series from the Cardinals for the first time since 1997. Cardinals have lost 4 straight, and one reason, Jim Edmonds, who apparently has a bad knee, 0 for 18, finally got a hit and went 1 for 22. So the Cardinals are disappearing, and the Cubs lose a tough one 1-0, and the Astros are out on top. One other note, Vladimir Guerrero hit for the cycle in 4 straight at-bats. The Expos in Montreal beating the New York Mets. In the second inning, Guerrero doubled. He singled in the third, hit an RBI triple in the fifth, and then hit a home run in the 7th inning. Vladimir Guerrero. Another thought as we sit back and watch this ball game, if it gets down to push versus shove for the wild card involving Dodgers, Florida, Philadelphia, you be the judge. If it gets to the last weekend, who do you think has the edge? The Dodgers will be playing 4 in San Francisco. Philadelphia will be playing 3 in Atlanta. Florida will be home with the New York Mets. And here's Khalil Green. It is Sunday, and we had mentioned the other night about Khalil, who practices the Baha'i faith. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. B-A-H-A-I. And I thought maybe you'd like to know what the Baha'i faith is. It is a worldwide religion. In looking it up on the computer, they tell me it's based on the teachings of Baha'u'llah, a man who lived from 1817 to 1892. He stated the time had come for the people of the world to put aside their differences and to unite on the basis of his teachings. Well, now, wouldn't that be great if the world would and the people would put aside their differences and unite? There's a thought to hold on to. And young Khalil Green at the plate. Two and two the count. Guillermo Mota picking up and trying to save this one. I think every scout in baseball would agree that Guillermo Mota would probably be the closer on almost any team in the majors, certainly with the exceptions of the Dodgers and the Braves, with Gagne and John Smoltz.
Catcher.
So Green goes down. 2 out here in the 7th inning. 5-2 Dodgers. Humberto Quintera coming up, and a youngster on the move wearing his brand new era cap. It's a new era cap from the Department of Water and Power because the lettering LA in white and trimmed in maroon. Very attractive. Quintero robbed of an extra base hit by Beltre and grounded out 0 for 2. And a fly ball to center. Roberts to the track and hauls it in right at the wall. So Quintero a long way, but an out, and it's still 5-2 Dodgers. Sing it, boys and little girls. Yeah, Dad, you should be proud of her. Selig has popped up again. Three strikes, you're out. By the way, all 8 Padres strikeouts have been swinging, and talking about swinging, his dad swinging his offspring as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Mike Matthews, a left-hander coming out of the Padre bullpen, trying to get some outs. So Mike gets squared away with his catcher, Humberto Quintera. Matthews is from Fredericksburg, Virginia, lives in Woodbridge. The Indians made him a #2 pick long time ago, 92, long time in baseball anyway. As Mike said, ever since I was born, my dad was ready for me to play baseball. When they brought me home from the hospital, Dad put me down to sleep and put a little ball and glove in my bassinet. He put the ball in my left hand, and here he is. Ball 1. 10 years ago, Mike Matthews, tendonitis, weak shoulder, so he had a lot of problems. And that's golfed into left field, and not only in there for a base hit, Cesar on his way for 2. Giles' throw not nearly in time. So the Dodgers welcome Matthews with a double. Don't forget, Dodger Division Series tickets are on sale. You can purchase your tickets, come to the stadium, give us a call, go online to Dodgers.com. No ticket purchase limit. And again, just to whet our appetite, the fact that Florida lost, Philadelphia won, so the Dodgers have a chance to be 2.5 back should they hold on to this lead. And then we'll rest until Tuesday night when the Dodgers host Arizona and Florida will be in Philadelphia. Shawn Green, couple of base hits, hit into a force play, 2 for 3. Curveball missing. One thing about the shoulder problems that Mike Matthews had, there was one blessing. He was only 19 years old, so he had time to recover. That's a strike. 2-1. Shawn Green hitting .276. His Turris at second, nobody out. 7th inning, 5-2 Dodgers. Breaking ball missed. Not only a bad shoulder, later on in his career, 5 years ago, Mike Matthews went on the DL, a broken right foot. He was hit by a line drive of Steve Decker, a catcher. Remember when Steve Decker was the catcher for the Giants and Bud Black was the pitcher, so that the battery was Black and Decker? Pretty good tool for the Giants. 3-1. Big curveball, and he turns on it and pulls it too much. Didn't hit it hard. So 3-2 to Shawn. Well, talking about hitting it hard, he really had some swings last night. He had a 2-run home run. He had a line drive to right. He put Gary Matthews up against the wall with the bases loaded, and then last hit a line drive at Matthews. David Ross has hit the ball hard today with 2 home runs, and that's ball 4. In the 3rd inning, all of a sudden it happened after an error, and Ross hit the 3rd home run of the inning. And then in the 6th inning, he hit his 2nd home run of the day. So it is 5-2 Dodgers, and boy, David's 2nd home run was really crushed. So it's Turris at second, Green at first, and here's Robin Ventura, ball 1. Ventura singled, homered, and struck out. Now Loretta coming in to join Mike Matthews and Quintera. Mike can throw pretty hard, anywhere from 90 to 93 with a fastball. Very good slider. Interesting too that ball 4 to Shawn Green. That's the first walk of the day. Nomo zip, Mota zip, Howard and Linebrink zip. Down in the bullpen, Tom Martin begins to loosen up. So Mota sitting back in the dugout. He hits after Beltre, at least in the lineup, because Hobie Cabrera bats 9th. 1-1 to Robin in the dirt. 2-1. 2 on, nobody out. 5-2 Dodgers in the 7th. Fouls the fastball back. Atlanta, in case you missed it, had Gary Sheffield hit a 3-run home run in the first inning, but undaunted, the scrappy Marlins came back. They had won 7 in a row. They led 4-3 going into the 9th inning. They had 40,000 last night, about 25,000 today watching the Marlins. That's foul back. And then the Braves woke up, and in the 9th inning they scored 5 times. The main culprit giving them up was Braden Looper, and Atlanta won the game 8-4. Philadelphia had a 10-2 lead against Pittsburgh, and the Bucks tried to come back, but Philadelphia won it 10-7. Houston did it to the Cardinals again, sweeping them 4-1. Check swing. They're going to look, no swing. And in the heartbreaking game of the day, I could just see Wrigley Field, Chicago, hanging from the rafters. Carlos Zambrano, a great young pitcher, going up against a guy nobody knew, Josh Hall. Scoreless into the 9th inning, and the Reds won it 1-0. So the Cubs are 2 games back of Houston. There go the runners on a curveball, lifted to right field. So they have to scurry back as Matthews comes up to make the catch. So Ventura fly ball to right, 1 out. And Adrian Beltre coming up. Interesting that Beltre, who has the 11-game hitting streak, was the only Dodger starter not to have a base hit. Even Nomo had a hit. Cora hit. Ross 2 home runs. Burnett's a home run. Ventura a single and a home run. Green 2 singles and a walk. Izturis a double. Oh yeah, baseball cards. So 1 away. 4-1. Ron Coomer comes out on deck to bat for Mota, and then Tom Martin on call to pitch the 8th inning. 5 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Padres. And that one is hit up into that bright, glary sky, but Kotsay knows how to handle it. 2 down. So Izturis led off the inning with a double. Green walked, but they're still there. And now Coomer will come up and bat for Guillermo Mota.
Your attention, please, for the Dodgers.
Ron Coomer hitting .246, but he has been dynamite against left-hand pitching. And hold everything now. Darrell Balsley, the pitching coach, on his way out to the mound. Darren is a San Diego boy. He went to Mount Carmel High School, graduated 20 years ago. Came up from the Southern League. He was the pitching coach for the Mobile Bears. And when Greg Booker was let go, Darren came up to be the pitching coach. So here is Coomer against Mike Matthews. Coomer has done very well. He's hitting .308 as a pinch hitter. And against left-handers, Ron Coomer is hitting .382. And I remember in spring training, Jim Tracy talking about Coomer saying, you know, he gives you a professional at-bat every appearance. And lifts it into shallow right. Loretta looking for help, and who's it going to be? Matthews. So Coomer didn't hang around. The Dodgers lead 2, and at the end of 7, Dodgers 5, Padres 2. Be Heffley serenading the crowd with Marion the Librarian, and we'll tell you that next Sunday it'll be the last home game of the year. Dodgers Giants. Dodgers want to thank their fans, as they always do, and there'll be some great prizes. See if we can duck them in. A Toyota 4Runner, Chrysler Global Electric Motor Car, Plasma TV, compliments of SVA, Dodger season tickets, $250 savings bond, compliments of U.S. Bank, Hawaii trips from Shell Vacations. Other gifts courtesy of 76 Gasoline, Craig and Krispy Kreme, Farmer John, 24-hour fitness, Amtrak, Delta Airlines, Singular Wireless, and so much more. That'll be next Sunday, the final home game of the year, and wouldn't you know, with the Giants. Tom Martin pitching to big Brian Buchanan. 0-2. Buchanan 6'4", 230, and Tom Martin, who has done a great job coming in against left-handers, but now starts an inning. Buchanan, a first-round pick of the Yankees 9 years ago. Little roller to short. His Turris takes care of it. One away. The paid attendance today, another fine crowd. 45,405. 45,405. And we ought to have some good crowds for the Arizona series, because all of a sudden that becomes huge while Florida is playing in Philadelphia. Monsieur Gagne in the sunlight. So Martin is asked to pitch the 8th, and Eric is up. Sean Burrow grounded out, fly to left, homered in the 6th inning. We've had 6 home runs in the game. Giles, Burrows, Ross for 2, Burnett, and Ventura. And only Ventura's home run came with a man aboard. Robin came up with a man aboard only because his Turris hit the ball so hard that it handcuffed Mark Loretta, charged with an error. Otherwise, the Dodgers would only score 1 run in the 3rd inning, and you never know how this game would have come out. And for Loretta, again, to his defense, it was not just an easy ground ball. I mean, his Turris ripped it. Caesar can hit him hard. Fly ball, curling foul down the left field line. Coming in a hurry is Cabrera, but it's back in the stands. 2-2 the count. Again, we want to make sure you know, a lot of people, when they come to the ballpark, really want to know the pitchers. Don't blame you. So Tuesday night, Kaz Ishii and Kurt Schilling. Wednesday night, Odalis Perez and Brandon Webb. Thursday night, Wilson Alvarez and Miguel Batista. That's a foul ball. Foul ball, but isn't that pretty? Doesn't count. The crowd not watching the umpires. Boy, Beltre's so quick, so amazing. He wasn't about to play umpire because we're a little too close, but right behind him, Jeff Nelson called foul all the way. But just watch how quickly he gets rid of it. Foul ground, backhands, jumps, fires. Amazing. In the dirt, Ventura couldn't dig it out, but it didn't count anyway. The amazing Adrian Beltre. You watch him for a month and a half, and you think, what would ever happen if he had for 6 months what he has done for the month and a half? Little ground ball to Cora. 2 down, and the batter will be Mark Loretta. Now, don't forget the schedule. You can put it on the head of a pin. The Diamondbacks are here Tuesday through Thursday. All those games on Fox Sports Net 2. And the weekend with the Giants. Friday night, Saturday night, Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday. All 3 on UPN 13. So Tom Martin did his job. He got Buchanan and Burrows. And with Loretta coming up, it's time to give the ball to Paul Quantrill. The Quantrill comes in, and we'll be back. Dodgers leading 5-2 with 2 out in the 8th inning. And Paul Quantrill coming in his 80th game to face Mark Loretta.
Second baseman, Mark
Quantrill with that tremendous earned run average of 1.7. Mark Loretta fouled out, struck out, reached on an error, 0 for 3. The pride of St. Francis High School in La Cañada. A strike, 0-1. And then went on to distinguish himself at Northwestern University. Came up with a business degree. 0-1. Sinker missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Dodger bullpen, as you know, has been dynamite. Only 7 blown saves, and the king of the pen, Eric Gagne, getting ready for the 9th. Strike to Loretta, 1-2. Foul ball. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers trying to sweep the Padres for the first time since 1994, middle of May. Dodgers also trying to make their record against San Diego a little more respectable. Remember, when the Padres came in here, they had beaten the Dodgers 9 out of 12. So even if the Dodgers win, they're still down 6 games to 9 with 4 left in San Diego. A drive to left center and deep. Roberts trying to run it down, and that's going to bounce over the wall way up into the bleachers. And it's a 2-out double for Mark Loretta. So Loretta comes up with hit number 5.
Brian Giles.
And the batter will be Brian Giles, who popped up, homered, and flied to center and hold everything. Jim Tracy says 2 out in the 8th inning, 14 games left. That's going to be it. He's going to go to Gagne. So Brian Giles is going to face Eric Gagne. The gate is open a little earlier than usual, but the crowd on its feet now, and the roar begins. Bienvenue, Monsieur Gagne. Bienvenue. So the crowd reacting to the public address announcement, which is really unnecessary. As soon as the bullpen gate opens, even that little one knew who's coming in. And the song that was kind of made famous by the Pittsburgh Lumber Company in the 70s, "We Will Rock You." Well, here's Gagne and Eric facing Brian Giles, who is 2 for 10 in the past, and that hit him. So Giles takes one and is awarded first base. That for Eric Gagne would be the 3rd batter that he has hit this year. That's all. However, what it does is bring Phil Nevin up.
Phil Nevin.
And Nevin suddenly represents the possible tying run. Now, how has Nevin fared? Pretty well. 5 for 18. That's a .278 batting average against Gagne. Nevin doubled in the 2nd inning, singled in the 6th. That's a strike. Interesting, because when you look at Gagne, a pitcher, Eric says he loved to hit. In fact, the reason he concentrated on baseball rather than hockey was Tim Wallach. Remember Tim? Big, rangy 3rd baseman, played for the Dodgers, but also a big man in Montreal. And it was the way Wallach was swinging the bat that got Gagne to put down the hockey stick and play baseball. 2 on, 2 out, 1-1 to Nevin. 5-2 Dodgers. Little chopper to his turf. On the run, takes care of him. So Gagne hits Giles, gets Nevin, and that's the top of the 8th inning. The Padres lead 2, and the Dodgers lead 5-2. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it, and by the all-new 2004 Ford F-150. A glorious Sunday in Los Angeles. The Dodgers making the most of it. They hit 4 home runs. The kids are here amongst the 45,405. And the Dodgers now will have David Ross, who has hit 2 home runs to start it off. Homered in the 3rd and then really hit one out in the 6th. He'll be facing Jay Watasic. So it's been Howard, Linebrink, Matthews, and Watasic. Jay was originally a second-round pick by the Cardinals 10 years ago. He went to the University of Maryland in Baltimore. Born in Baltimore, and last we checked, lived in Bel Air, Maryland. Originally picked by the Astros, but he opted to go to college. 1 ball and no strikes. Jay Watasic, 31 years old, 6'4", 235. 2-0 to Ross. David Ross, 2 home runs. That's his first career multi-home run game. If he plays enough, he'll have plenty of them. Right, 2-1. A nightmare for Jay Watasic as we look in to see Wilson Alvarez sitting back with Dave Roberts laughing and Sean Green. Watasic had a memorable yet nightmarish game. Remember the World Series 2 years ago, Game 6? He set a record and equaled another. He allowed 8 hits and 6 earned runs in the 3rd inning. And he walks David Ross. So the only 2 walks issued in the game have been given up by San Diego pitchers, but then Gagne came in and hit a batter. Eric, by the way, will be facing Gary Matthews, Mark Kotsay, and Khalil Green due up in the 9th. So here's Cora. Singled and then struck out twice, each time after David Ross had hit a home run. Fouls the bunt, 0-1. When you check Watasic's stuff, he throws a 4-seam fastball, and as big as he is, he's been clocked as high as 95. He has a 2-seamer, a sinking fastball. He has a knuckle curve and a slider. Of course, in relief, you don't need a lot of pitches. 0-1. You got to throw him for strikes. Whoops. 1-1 to Alex, hitting .241. On deck, batting 9th, Hobie Cabrera. Oh, yes, huh? With her bonnet. Oh, bless her heart. So pretty. Yeah, Dad, hold on tight going up those stairs. There goes the runner, and a hit-and-run base hit to left field. Giles has to go into foul ground to get it. Cora goes to second and just comes off the bag. David Ross safely into third. So the Dodgers put a play on, and Cora singles to left. Ross goes to third, and then Alex trying to, like a snake, slither around Loretta, but he came off the bag, and so Giles will get the assist. Loretta will get the put out. There he goes around the bag and out to dry. So he was never in possession at second base. Got his hand on it. He's cut down 7-4. So that brings up Hobie Cabrera, run out with Ross at third. Infield up. Ball 1. Hobie had 1 at bat. He popped up in the 6th inning, came into the game in a double switch. Batting .283. That's a strike. 1-1. So Eric Gagne waiting. Matthews, Kotze, and Green due up. I don't know if they'll let Green bat. They do have a left-handed hitting shortstop in Ramon Vasquez, so we'll see. 1-1. Fastball hit foul upstairs off to the right. Club level, dropped down below. So 1-2 to Hobie Cabrera. For about a month, he's been hitting close to 360. In and out of the lineup, every different possible position, every different spot in the lineup, totally unfazed. He has really been an unsung hero. Look at that. First, second, short, third, left, center. One ball, two strikes. So down goes Cabrera. And Ross at third, Dave Roberts the batter. Roberts opened up the game with a triple. And then his Torres hit a fly ball to center. Mark Kotze made a great throw. Humberto Quintero, the catcher, made a great block. And Roberts was out at the plate. Since then, Dave's fly to center, grounded out, struck out. 1 for 4. Fouled away. Curt Schilling and Kaz Ishii Tuesday night. And the Florida Marlins, who had a 7-game winning streak, go down the drain today. Will go to Philadelphia, leading the Phillies by a 1.5 games. So it'll be a big assignment for Ishii and a big game for the Dodgers. Ground foul, 0-2. Jay Watasic came up with the Oakland A's, then played for the Kansas City Royals, then the Padres, then the Yankees, the Giants, and back to the Padres again. Oh boy, he fooled him. Good pitch, location, and Roberts was just overwhelmed. And so it is time for Eric Gagne to adjust that battered cap and take a 5-2 lead out to the mound in the ninth. Be sure to join us tonight at 10 for highlights of all of today's sports action. We'll present the Southern California Sports Report, complete Dodger coverage, and a heck of a lot more. The Southern California Sports Report, that's tonight at 10. Dodgers lead 5-2 in the ninth inning. A highly spirited crowd of 45,405, freshly adorned with the new era cap, and with the battered old cap, Eric Gagne going to work on Gary Matthews. 0-1. Matthews fouled out, flied out, popped up, 0 for 3. He is 1 for 10 in the series, and that was an infield single. 1-1. Outfield deep. Roberts playing towards left center. A little roller to his Torres. Has to pick it on the run and got him anyway. A nice play. First for his Torres and then for Ventura to somehow keep his foot on the bag. Those little rollers really tough. And especially Matthews hitting left-handed, and a fine stretch and a toe dance by Robin Ventura. But look at this. In the glove, transfer, throw in a hurry. Ball sails, but he got him. And a strike to Mark Kotze. Kotze's had a tough game. Started out great. He throws a runner out of the plate, but he has struck out 3 consecutive times. And it's really worse than that, because if you go back to last night, Mark Kotze, who is a very good player, has struck out 5 consecutive at-bats. So it goes in the big leagues. Another strike. Gagne with the remarkable numbers, strikeouts to walks, 127 strikeouts, make it 128. And for Mark Kotsay, oh boy, welcome to the life of being a ball player. He strikes out 4 times today and 6 consecutive times in the series, and he's good enough to wreck the Dodgers when they go to San Diego, but not in this series. So now 2 out, and it's up and at 'em time. And young Khalil Green will get an at-bat against Gagne. Green 0 for 3, struck out twice. Boom. Shut up and watch and listen to the crowd. Time. Ball boy had to retrieve something in right field. Okay. Back to the crowd. Oh, wow. I mean, the kid from Clemson, you dust him off with that big curveball. You strike out 2. You put the lid on the game, and the Dodgers sweep the San Diego Padres for the first time since 1994 here in Los Angeles. The player of the game, the fine young catcher, David Ross, who caught a gem handling Nomo, Mota, Martin, Quantrill, and Gagne for good measure, and also hit 2 home runs. So the Dodgers sweep the Padres. They are 2.5 games back of the Marlins, and we'll be right back. His 16th. Gagne gets his 51st save. The Dodgers hit 4 home runs, beat San Diego, and sweep them. And they're 2.5 games back of Philadelphia. Arizona here Tuesday night. Florida will be in Philadelphia. Once again, the final score: Dodgers 5, Padres 2. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Dodger Stadium. For Dodger postgame coverage and all the day's local sports news, don't forget the Southern California Sports Report. That's tonight at 10. See you Tuesday evening. Hope you'll be here with us if you can. Right now, good afternoon, everybody.